Okay. All right, we ready?
And Pat, hold on 1 second, let me record.
You ready? Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this December 17th meeting of City Council to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Councilmember Gregg, Councilmember Shealy.
Here.
Councilmember McBride,
Here.
Councilmember Mitchell, Councilmember Brady,
Present.
Councilmember Gregory, Councilmember Waring, Councilmember Seekings, Councilmember Tinkler, Councilmember Bowden, Councilmember Appel, Councilmember Parker, Mayor Cogswell.
Here. I'd now like to ask Councilmember Waring to give the invocation and lead everybody in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let's bow our heads and pray. Eternally Father, as we come before you, we thank you for your many blessings. We thank you for the bounty of Mother Earth, for the substance of your people. We ask for peace, particularly during this time of year, that we set aside our differences globally, all the crisis that's going forward, and the betterment of humanity come forward. We ask for special prayers for the families in Madison, Wisconsin that experienced tragedy, and all the families that experienced tragedy throughout the year. Sometimes answers are hard to find, but we know in your word and belief and faith, somehow we come out on the other side. We ask for the prayers and the intellect of all collected here to help with those who are unfortunate and help us provide answers to those needs. We pray for those who defend democracy, both near and far, and their families. These prayers we bring forth in your name. Let us all say amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we've got two recognitions tonight. Two great football teams are with us this evening. I think I've got the little Trojans here in the, I see those James Allen colors. So if you boys can come on up, your coaches. We've got Coach Kevin Mapp, who is also a detective for the City of Charleston Police Department. And these guys, these handsome gentlemen coming up on stage tonight, are the 11 and 12-year-old James Allen Little Trojans who had a 10-0 championship season. Can we give a little round of applause there, guys? So the championship game was hosted at the James Allen Charter High School on November 12th. They played the number 2 seed, Mount Pleasant. Yeah. And let's see, they had 2 defensive touchdowns. Is that right? That's strong, gentlemen. And the offense put up another 21 points. All right. All right. Leading to a 35-6 victory. Now, these are not the losing team. They're coming. These are the Daniel Allen guys. They're coming in a minute. But let me give a shout out to these guys. I'm going to read your names, and hopefully I'll get them all right. Okay. When I read your name, raise your hand. I want you to be recognized here in City Hall. Okay. It's a very big accomplishment for you guys. You want to come up on stage, man? You want to be sitting down there? Come on. All right, we got Gideon Ammons. Not here. All right, Brock Beasley. Brooks Blackman. Caden Bruton. Bryson Brooks. Reagan Calhoun. Lucas Casanova. Love that name. James Cumby. Eli Davis. Hudson Deshawn. Jeremiah DeWalk. Logan Drickhammer. Jackson Gentz. Sam Greer. Stephen Gritzuk. Holton Hamden. Joe Henderson. Brooks King. Austin Kolaski. Wilson Ledford. Jesse Lemphis. Bryson Litton. Lucas Mapp. Levi Styron. And McLean Wolf. And again, got Coach Mapp here. Where? Right here. You want to say anything to the crew? All right. Well, let's give these guys a round of applause. Congratulations, gentlemen. All right. Now we're turning our attention to these little guys in the front. Y'all got to face that way now. There we go. The big guys, excuse me, my apologies. This is the Daniel Island 9 to 10-year-old football team coached by Stephen Webb, who is a fire captain for the city of Charleston. We got police and fire. Let's give that a round of applause. And these guys, again, undefeated regular season to a postseason championship victory over the 8-1, again, Mount Pleasant team. Gentlemen are representing tonight. And again, on this one, the championship game was hosted on November 4th at Mount Pleasant. So they had the home field advantage. The game was played in sloppy conditions. Is that what I understand, guys, right? Real tough. A lot of rain, tough battle. These guys were down 8-0 in the first half, but they did not give up. They leaned in, and by the second half, they put on a defensive show, not allowing a single point as they came back to win 14-8. Good job, guys. All right, I'm going to call your names out again. Raise your hand. Tyler Crum, Knox Evans, Jack Fisher, Bennett Hearn, Patrick Heffernan, Adam Koresh, Braden Mack, Owen Mackey, Colton Moore, Pierce Renero, Sanders Ramsey, Michael Son, Hudson Sarkis, Tavin Schmidt, Jager Scott, Jack Stewart, Kingston Surratt, Jonathan Webb, Luca Woolley, and Peyton Youngquist. And again, their coach, Stephen Webb, again, fire department guy. More round of applause for all these fellas. Still champions in the room. All right, gentlemen, be good to your parents. You're welcome. You're welcome. We were trying to cue "We Are the Champions" as y'all walk out, but we couldn't get IT to. Thanks, sir. Yeah, man. Congratulations. Thank you. Y'all are welcome to stay through the rest of the council meeting if you like. I mean. All right, let's move on. Next on the agenda, we have public hearings. There are 5 public hearings tonight. As per usual, Christopher will give his presentation first. So Christopher, why don't you come on up and tell us what we've got to review?
Okay, can you all hear me? Is this working? Okay, great. All right. So we are starting with 1733 Main Road, which is a request to go from, rezoning request to go from single-family residential SR2 to residential office. Okay. Okay, is this better? Okay. All right, so this is 1733 Main Road. It's a request to go from single-family residential SR2 to residential office. It's at the corner of Brownswood Road and Main Road. Across the street is limited business zone property that has affordable housing on it. And then it has SR, single-family residential to the east and to the west, or to the north and to the south, excuse me. An image of the property from the air, and you can see Main Road at Brownswood intersection that it's right on. And in our comprehensive plan, it's designated for suburban future use, and the RO would be in line with that. And our planning commission recommended approval of this request. Moving on to the next item. This is on Daniel Island. It's on the southern end of Daniel Island at 1683 Oakleaf Street. It's a 1.82 acre tract that would be rezoned from the Daniel Island Park Zone to the Daniel Island Conservation Zone. So it will be, it's the small square that's part of the larger square here. And it would be the same zoning as what is across the street. The reason for this rezoning is for a cell tower to help improve the cell coverage, particularly on the southern end of Daniel Island. And here we have an aerial image of the property. It's in our comprehensive plan as low impact and conserved, but it's a cell tower, so it's not occupied space. And planning commission recommended approval of this one as well. And then we're moving on to amendment to the development agreement for the Magnolia development. This is a third amendment to the development agreement. The list of tax map numbers are in front of you in the agenda, but this is where the properties are. And you all, I think, are pretty familiar with Magnolia. This is a development agreement amendment mainly to add another property in that had been previously industrial that was not included in past versions of the development agreement. And you can see the property right there. It was the Parker Marine that was a heavy industrial site that would now be added to the development agreement. That has been through Planning Commission, recommended for approval again on that one. And then we have a simple ordinance amendment to our boards of zoning appeals and our planning commission that would allow for an alternate to serve on those boards, so that when we don't have enough members for a quorum or we're missing members on those boards, the alternate could help serve. And the ordinance is in your packages, but it again allows for it. We have not had those in the past. We've had them for the design review boards, BAR, things like that, but not for BZA and planning commission. So this amendment would allow for that. And it was recommended for approval by planning commission. And finally, we have a simple annexation that would be zoned at 901 Melrose Drive. It would come in the city as SR1. And here you see the property and the image of the property. And planning commission recommend approval of the zoning for that property.
Okay. One of the public comments. How many, Madam Clerk, how many people we have signed up to speak on these?
We have 5 people signed up to speak.
5?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll give everybody a minute and a half.
All right. Anthony Bryant, and the time is a minute and a half.
If I may, just for those new that are going to be speaking, and this won't cut into your time, Mr. Bryant, but I do want to just remind everybody of the rules of decorum. We ask people to be respectful. We ask people not to address individual council members directly. Again, I will give you a warning if you're outside the rules of decorum. If I wrap it again, you'll be escorted out of the council chambers. Thank you.
I have to introduce myself. You have my digital comment I made. It's Anthony G. Bryant. I have fingerprints and mugshots in the Federal Bureau of Investigation National Information Center from 1982, 86, and 89. I was a juvenile then. So I'm coming before you with fingerprints and mugshots, okay, within the system. According to Tony Bartlemy, who covered me for years, and knowing that I did have mugshots and I had fingerprints from back in the day. And those that don't have mugshots and fingerprints from back in the day, I don't know them. Those that do, there's something else. So let's get into this. When I made public comment against the Magnolia Project years ago, the question simply was this: what about the existing residents in my neighborhood? Now, they hadn't made a dime in 20-some years on their TIF district yet. And now we do a district in Union Pier, hopefully they'll make a dime to make sure they cover their bet. So the issue becomes is these TIF districts we're talking about fully disclosing the issue. Should they get it canceled? Should it be a renegotiation with the public existing right now and their needs right now? Existence 20 years ago ain't existence going on in my neighborhood now. So I have a deep problem with mugshots and fingerprints in my neighborhood, and me too, with limited opportunities and access to the system, other than being choked out in New York in a public transportation or shot on King and Line Street.
Mohammed Idris.
Evening. I'm very disappointed in the office of leadership of this city. I've been made promises, and when I tried to collect on the promise, I was told I had to see a councilman of the 4th district. That is not right. Promises, promises, promise. Now, I've told the mayor that I'm going to fight him politically, like he never seen anybody fight an official government person. Thank you.
And the next person, and apologies if I'm mispronouncing, I believe it's Lauren Milley from Sumter Street.
So it's Havital Milts, and I live on Summer Trees on Johns Island. So I want to address the property on 1733 Main Road. The traffic there is absolutely horrendous as it is. That traffic light already has multiple accidents. It's my understanding that you start with a residential office and then it could be any type of commercial. There's absolutely not ample parking there. And when you're mentioning that across the street there are lower income housing, it's actually way further down on Brownswood. It's not on that intersection. So there's nothing there that is commercial. Commercial is 2 blocks over. This is going to be something much more disruptive in the future if it's going to start with residential office. It's a house flipper that is just trying, to sell it, which I fully understand that. I do things like that as well. And I want to close by saying that during the prayer, less privileged people were mentioned. That neighborhood over there is less privileged people. It doesn't mean that their children, that has become a pass-through. And every time that I need to go towards Seabrook or anything of that sort, if Brownswood is backed up, it sends me through that neighborhood. If you're going to put an office there, that there are 4 bedrooms in that house, that neighborhood next door is going to be even more dangerous. So it is a less privileged neighborhood. The kids do deserve to cross the street without being afraid that somebody driving 80 miles an hour there.
Time.
And I'm sorry?
Time.
Okay, so just, I hope the city council will consider the less privileged people after this prayer today. Thank you.
Sarah Young.
I'm actually one of the owners of that property, 1733 Main Road. We purchased it a few months ago, and after it sat vacant for years, we renovated it very nicely. We tried to sell it and could not sell it because it's on a busy street corner with a street light. And nobody really wants to live on a busy street corner with a street light. We did get one interested party. She's a woman who owns a CPA firm, and she wants to run her CPA business out of the home. She can't do that if it's not rezoned for residential office. I don't believe this would be a disruption. It would be a very calm CPA firm. There's ample parking behind the house, maybe not in front, but the backyard is very large, and it would be easy to park behind the house. I would ask you to please consider that we could rezone this because I don't think anybody really wants to live on such a busy street corner. And I think it would be a great use of this property. There actually is a commercial lot, 3 lots down. There's sheds for sale on this lot. And I know that it's zoned properly for that. Across the street is multifamily apartment buildings. So I do think that it would fit within what's going on there already. So please consider. Thank you.
Virginia Ricker. All right, was there anyone else who needed to speak during public hearings tonight? All right, we did receive 2 comments online. 2 citizens submitted comments opposed to the rezoning of 1733 Main Road. And those are all the comments that we received under public hearings.
Any commentary from members of council regarding these items? Councilman Brady.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Morgan, I just had a question on the residential office classification. As part of that, knowing that there'll be more in and out than SR2 that is currently zoned for, is there any type of traffic study or anything like that that's required?
There would not be a traffic study required for such a low intense use. The residential office is our least intense commercial district. And it requires that the residential character of the property be maintained from a visual standpoint, and the size of the office that's there would not trigger a traffic study or anything like that. There would be more trips than, say, a single family house, but I don't think you're looking at a significant number in that location.
So to a comment that was made about it being kind of a slippery slope to moving towards like GB or anything like that in the suburban designation, what does the suburban designation kind of entail?
Yeah, the comprehensive plan would not support those types of intense commercial uses. The only type of commercial use that's really supported by virtue of the suburban designation in the comprehensive plan is something like residential office. Like I said, the least intense commercial category we have.
All right, thank you.
Councilman Bowden.
Thank you. And you know, my view is this does not sound like a particularly intense commercial use, but Councilman McBride, do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, just thanks for the opportunity. Just my stance is it's just it's a small business owner type of situation. The first commenter about it, adding a little bit of traffic and that being a slippery slope. That's our job, is to prevent slippery slopes like that from happening in this situation. I think this is just a small parcel helping out a small business owner, just to be able to do what they want to do with it. I'm not concerned about the reclassification, the rezoning.
Any further questions? Councilman Seegans?
But to me, this one seems like kind of a no-brainer. I mean, you're going to activate it a little bit. If you had a family living there with 2 adults and 4 teenagers, we have much more traffic than a CPA farm that's open from 9 to 5, right? So, I mean, this is a good use for that property, and make it active. Certainly support it.
All right, can I entertain a motion?
Move 1 through 6.
A motion to move, to approve items 1 through 6.
Sorry, 5.
Excuse me,
Sorry.
1 through 5, 1 through 5.
And Mayor, item number 4 is a final reading.
Item number 4 is a final reading for the record. So we have a motion probably seconded for approval of items 1 through 5. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right.
Now, 1, 2, 3, and 5 for third reading.
Motion for 1, 2, 3, and 5 for third reading.
No.
So,
Oh, sorry, for
4. Yeah, just as a point of order.
I got it.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I got it. I'm
All
counting
right,
bad.
so we have a motion for item 3.
For,
Right.
for third
Right.
reading.
Right, what the clerk said. Any further, and we have a second? All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed,
Aye.
ayes have it. Now we are on to approval of council minutes for November 26th. Motion approved. Probably seconded. Any further discussion on that? If none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, we're now on to citizens' participation. Madam Clerk, how many people we have signed up tonight to speak?
We have 3.
Okay, we'll give the 3 speakers a minute and a half. Again, rules of decorum to apply here. So look forward to hearing from everyone.
All right, the
Council, please.
time
Yeah.
is a minute and a half. Anthony G. Bryant.
President A.G. Bryant Group, Inc. If you're in the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I'd ask a question to this public safety chairman, whether or not he's aware of the Federal Bureau of Investigation's mugshot and also fingerprinting in their system, and whether or not it's being used inappropriately or appropriately by your body. Are you aware of it? The impact on the NADDIS system, DEA system, ATF systems, and other systems, an error could be fatal for somebody with a felony, the mugshot, okay? Or a mugshot, a fingerprint. It could be really drastic for them. And I've got one. And really, you know, in actuality, if the mayor, if I violate his rule of decorum, he can ask him to shoot me. Okay, that's how serious that is. So now at the end of the day, we're talking in terms of public policy now. Okay, this is nurses and doctors on TikTok. And this person's image likeness detected to my Facebook page. That's MUSC, Roper, Trident, Tech. Anybody that got somebody in their family got to worry about me around the hospital. In the process of taking my family to the hospital, right? So that's what's going on with this, right? My name's been maligned completely. I was on the BZA and I voted on cell towers. I know how this works. So at the end of the day, Tony Bryant's been maligned. AG Bryant Group Inc. has been maligned. I want to deal on an enterprise piece. $10 for 4 hours and half price with existing residents in an enterprise thing.
Time.
There's no City of Charleston resident deal on that. None. I want one. Give this to me.
Muhammad Idris.
Yeah, these two right here makes you shoot.
Evening again. History is best qualified to reward all research. I was told to see Councilman Mitchell with a promise that was made to me. Now, when I voted for the mayor, nobody told me to see Councilman Mitchell. The history of this country would always have, work to have 2 African-American fighting against each other. I'm not gonna fight Councilman Mitchell because I didn't go to Councilman Mitchell when I voted for the mayor. I did not go to Councilman Mitchell. Someone sent me to the mayor, I went, I voted, but I'm not getting any benefit from the vote. I'm not gonna fight my brother. I'm gonna fight the person who lied to me. Thank you.
Justin Perot.
I live in Ardmore. If y'all are not familiar with that, it's West Ashley. For the last 5 years, I've been trying to get Balsam Park. At the end of Balsam Street, there's a park. I looked at the GIS map. It's owned by the city. It's fallen into disrepair, and they can't find any funds to it. It says it's an active park, but you can't walk. The streets are, the little path is broke up, and if you take the path, there's a drainage ditch, and there's supposed to be a bridge that connects the park to the bike path. And then we just had a food forest put in to the neighborhood back there. So the neighborhood is coming up. But for 5 years, I've been trying to get the park restored. It's at the end of Balsam Street. It's owned by the city council. The bridges that would attach my neighborhood to the bike paths have been knocked down for over 20 I think 15 years, and for the last 5, I've been trying to get them restored. We have 26 businesses, including a car dealership in Precinct 8, which is, it's St. Andrews Precinct 8, which is where I live, but we're not getting the benefit of the tax dollars. The bridges, well, I will say this, that it has been improved since 2020, so it's been approved for the bike path situation, but Dominion apparently has gas lines that run under the bike path, so there's been an issue with that. But reconstructing the bridges that would connect our neighborhood to the bike path is a separate issue. I don't think that should be held up. There is another issue. There's at the Pet Boys at the corner of 17 and White Oak.
Time.
It floods on 17 and White Oak. We've been trying to deal with that issue for 5 years also.
And then we did receive some comments online from Mr. Bryant, which were forwarded to council. And Mr. Vasiti said that council should pass the rewritten pedicab law and hold the already approved bid on the available decals. And those were all the comments we received.
Okay, we're now on to petitions and communications. There is one item up for approval on this, the memorandum of understanding with the U.S. Coast Guard. These are being sent directly to council as a public safety. As public safety is not meeting this month, so they need to be presented and updated before before the end of the year.
Move for approval.
Motion for approval, seconded. Any further discussion on this? All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, I'd now like to call on committee reports. Councilman Gregg, for his report on Ways and Means.
Thus concludes my committee report.
Right. We have a motion made, properly seconded. Any further discussion? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. All right, we now have 12 items up for second reading. Item 4, just as a note, is as amended. We have a motion to approve as amended. What did I say? Good God. Okay. Right. Wake up, William. All right, 5 is amended. We have a motion properly seconded. Any further discussion on these items? Councilman Brady, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay on 3. And I'd like
Councilmember,
to explain my vote.
Councilmember Parker is a nay on item 3.
Thank you.
Right.
While I support the majority of the budget, and COLA increases for our staff, I cannot support it when it's attached to certain salaries. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so we are now,
Can we move for third reading and ratification?
motion made and probably seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Councilwoman
And-
Parker,
Nay, no, thank you.
nay on 3. Opposed, besides Councilwoman Parker, none. Okay, motion carries. All right, we are now up for there's one bill up for first reading. As amended, this is 41 Cooper Street, which I believe has to do with the ABA credit. Can I entertain a motion on this one?
For approval.
Motion made, properly seconded. Any discussion while I sign? If none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it. And now we are, let's see where we are. We have a motion made to go into executive session, as defined. All those in favor of going into executive session, signify by saying aye. Opposed, ayes have it. We will go into my office. How about that? On the phone. I have a motion to come out of executive session.
Second.
I got a motion and
So
properly,
moved.
probably seconded in reverse order, but I think we got it clear. We're all in favor of coming out of executive session, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We're now out of executive session where we went and discussed potential contracts for affordable housing. If there's no other, but no action was taken. So if there's no other action to be taken tonight, our next meeting will be held on a very special day, my 50th birthday, January 14th, 2025. So look forward to seeing you all there. Meeting adjourned.